Okay, welcome to tonight's Lake Bluff Board of Trustees meeting. It is July 13th, 2020. And before we begin, I have a little segue here to read to everybody. Determination by the village president regarding in-person meetings of the village board of the village of Lake Bluff. Pursuant to recently adopted amendments to the Illinois Open Meetings Act included in Public Act 101-0640, public bodies may, in certain circumstances, hold entirely virtual public meetings without a quorum physically present in any one location. On March 18, 2020, I issued a declaration of emergency pursuant to the authority granted by the Village Code, the Illinois Municipal Code, and the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act to address the health threat posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. On May 29, 2020, Governor Pritzker issued a disaster proclamation that declared in-person attendance public meetings of more than 10 people at the regular public meeting location to be infeasible. In accordance, the Open Meetings Act be amended by Public Act 101-0640. In accordance with the Governor's Disasters Proclamation and my declaration of emergency, I, Kathleen O'Hara, hereby determine that given the ongoing emergency associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, in-person meetings of the village council and the subsidiary boards and commissions of the village are not practical or prudent at this time and until further notice. All right, with that said, could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ankerman. Trustee Sherlock.
Here.
Trustee Dewart.
Here.
Trustee Markey. Here. Trustee Meyer.
Here.
Trustee Toll.
Here.
All right, we have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Stand if possible. I pledge allegiance to the United States
of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have the consideration of the minutes of the June 22nd, 2020 Village Board regular meeting. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Markey, and a second by Mr. Second.
Mr. Dewart.
Mr. Dewart, thank you very much. Are any additions, corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, we can all in favor. I think we do it all in favor on this one. All in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
We need to
Thank you.
We do a roll call. Madam
Your roll call vote.
You really want a roll call on this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's make you happy.
Trustee Sherlock.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Sherlock.
Yes.
Trustee Dewart.
Aye.
Trustee Markey. Aye. Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
All right, at this point in time, we allow up to 15 minutes for anyone to speak on any item that is not on this evening's agenda. Do we have anyone here that would like to do so? Have we been notified of anybody?
Nobody's raising their hand, Madam President.
All right, thank you very much. All right, then let's go directly into the agenda. And we have the warrant reports for July 1 through 15, 2020, and the June 2020 payroll expenditures. We have expenditures of village funds for payment of invoices in the amount of $294,601.19 for July 1 through 15. We also have expenditures of village funds for payment of payroll in the amount of $319,764.42 for June 2020, which are total expenditures of $614,365.61. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved. So moved.
So moved by, when I missed the first one on that one, would you, who was that, please?
Mr. Dewart?
Both Meyer and Dewart moved. Meyer will second.
Okay, Dewart and then Meyer. Thank you very much on that. Any comments or questions for the finance director? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Stewart.
Aye.
Trustee Markey. Aye. Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Sherla.
Aye.
Thank you. We have the village administrator's report this evening.
Briefly, two things really. One is to show some appreciation and thanks for our friends at the 4th of July committee in the village who pulled together a pop-up parade that was very well received, and my only fear is that people are going to have that type of parade moving forward. I heard so many positive comments about it. People loved it, said it was the perfect medicine and the perfect dose. So very well done. So cheers to all those that were involved with that. The second item is kind of a bittersweet note. The Assistant Finance Director of the village, Marlene Scheibel, who's attended multiple meetings, including these meetings from time to time and the Finance Committee meetings, is moving on. She has accepted a job as the Finance Director for the village of Villa Park, which will shave her drive time by about 99%. And she's moving up in the world, so we're really excited for her. And but sad to see her go. She's been with us for 12 years. And has been a big part of our finance team that's experienced great success, being recognized by the Government Finance Officers Association and others over the years. So we wish her the best. And that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Village attorney's report. Ben, you have
No report this evening.
okay. Village president's report. Couple of things tonight. We get through with the motion to extend the village president's declaration of civil emergency. On March 18, 2020, President O'Hara issued a declaration of emergency for the village of Lake Bluff related to the COVID-19 emergency. Declaration, among other things, provided physical fitness facilities and membership sports recreational clubs must close. The village may enter into contracts for the emergency purchase of goods and services. The village administrator may implement emergency staffing protocols pursuant to the village's respective collective bargaining agreement, and directed village officials and employees to cooperate with other government agencies. Subsequently, the village president issued an April 23rd supplemental order requiring the use of face coverings in the village. A similar requirement was imposed statewide on May 1st by order of the governor. Village president has the authority to issue declaration and any supplemental orders pursuant to the enabling provisions set forth in the Lake Bluff Municipal Code and pursuant, with Illinois statutes. The village's president's declaration lasted only for a period of 7 days unless it was extended by action of the village board. March 18th, April 13th, April 26th, May 7th, 11th, May 27th, June 8th, and June 22nd meetings. The village board extended the declaration until the next subsequent village board meeting. As the village board will meet next on Monday, the declaration will expire at the end of the village meeting unless the board extends the declaration. Do I have a motion to extend?
So moved.
So move. Is that Mr. Stewart?
It was.
Second?
Seconded by Mr. Charlo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions?
Do we need to read the motion that's embedded there in the
I thought, okay, I
at the
hereby,
bottom?
I see at the bottom, I'm sorry. I hereby move to extend the village president's March 18, 2020 declaration of emergency until the end of the next regular, special, or emergency meeting of the village board. That is what you will be voting on.
Motioned as amended.
Okay. Second by Mr. Charlo. Any comments or questions?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Markey, for that. Roll call, please.
Trustee Markey. Aye. Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Sherla.
Aye.
Trustee Stewart.
Aye.
I too would like to extend a congratulations to Marlene for her 12 years of service here and on a wonderful opportunity for her in a new job. Very, very well deserved, and she is recognized for her due diligence to this community for so long. Also would like to mention that you might have seen around town some very colorful little doggies without leashes, by the way. At the time, we're supposed to, I think, have, and correct me, Mark or Joy, I think about 70 all total.
More than that.
Pardon?
Yeah.
More than that.
This is a brainchild of the 125 and the History Museum, and dedicated volunteers have been putting them all. I actually noticed a couple of more up today. They are getting a lot of buzz around town. It's very uplifting, and it's just a perfect time to have that. I had breakfast at Egg Harbor today, and several people came up to me and congratulated Lake Bluff. They were Lake Foresters congratulating Lake Bluff on our beautiful dogs. So congratulations to everybody for all their hard work on this. Very, very well appreciated, very much appreciated. Okay, that concludes that. I would like now to look for the acceptance of the correspondence that was delivered to the Village Board of Trustees in the informational reports on June 19th, 26th, and July 2nd, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Village President O'Hara, I don't think we had a roll, did we have a roll call for the civil emergency? I'm sorry, I'm doing two things here. Okay, we did, great, thank you,
We did.
sorry, please continue, my mistake.
Ooh, that's fair. Okay. I'm sorry.
Good.
Okay. All right. So do I have a motion to accept the correspondence?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Toll. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Ms. Marquis. Any comments, questions? All right. Roll call, please.
Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Sherlock.
Aye.
Trustee Dewart.
Aye.
Trustee Markey. Aye.
We now have the item number 11, which is a resolution approving an Illinois elevator safety program agreement and authorizing certain elevator safety standards. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by, first by Mr. Toll, second by
Second.
Mr. Meyer. Thank you. Village of Lake Bluff operates an elevator safety program wherein the village assumes responsibility for elevator plan review and inspection from the Office of the State Fire Marshal. And in turn, the village contracts with elevator inspection services to have those plans reviewed and inspections performed. In order to continue to operate a municipal elevator inspection program, the village must enter into an Illinois elevator safety program agreement with the Office of the State Fire Marshal every 4 years. Our most recent agreement was approved on July 11, 2016. Attached in your updated or your agreements that you have is the latest agreement from the Office of the State Fire Marshal. Does anyone have any comments for the administration on this at all? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Sherlock.
Aye.
Trustee Dewart.
Aye.
Trustee Markey. Aye. Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
We now have item 12, which is a resolution approving the transfer of $33,100 from the water fund to the general fund. This is a repayment. Do I have a motion to approve this transfer?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Marquis, and do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Toll. The FY 2019 village budget included a $400,000 contribution to the water fund, and as the first transfer in a series of incremental annual payments to fund the meter replacement program with the intent of repayment to the general fund. Subsequently, at the March 11th, 2019 Village Finance Committee meeting, borrowing was discussed as a way to fund capital projects for the water system, including water meter replacement, water main replacement, and valve repairs. The committee agreed financing the project through the issuance of bonds would allow the village to extend the cost of the project while allocating the contributions to more users over the useful life of the new infrastructure. As a result of the alternate funding approach and the recently projected revenue deficits evaluated by the Finance Committee at the June 18, 2020 meeting, it was a consensus of the committee to repay a portion of the general fund contribution made to the water fund for 2 stormwater studies, which were authorized by the village board on June 22nd, 2020. That was a village storm sewer fee study at $10,000 and the East Terrace subdivision engineering study of an overland flow route at $23,100. Are there any comments, questions by the board? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Sherlock,
Aye.
trustee Stewart,
Aye.
trustee Markey. Aye. Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
trustee Toll.
Aye.
Item number 13, which is a resolution authorizing change order number 1 for the village's 2020 water valve and hydrant replacement project. Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Meyer, and do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dewar. On April 13, 2020, the village board approved a resolution authorizing the execution of a construction contract with Canyon Contracting of Spring Grove, Illinois, for the 2020 water valve and hydrant replacement project for the amount of $135,500. At the time of award, it was anticipated that costs could rise as the water mains, valves, and hydrants that were to be worked on are between 80 and 100 years old. During the project, it was necessary to increase the scope of work due to several valves that were found to be inoperable. The contract called for the replacement of 5 hydrants and 6 valves. The contractor ended up replacing 6 hydrants and 9 valves. This additional work raised the final value of the contract $47,290 more than the originally approved amount. In accordance with the village purchasing policy, a change order of this amount requires the approval of the village board. Change order increases the water portion of the contract to $162,790. The village's FY 2020 budgeted included $150,000 for the valve and hydrant replacements. The water fund has adequate capacity for the $12,790 overage due to the water meter replacement project cost being less than anticipated. The village engineer recommends the village board approve the change order to the construction contract with the contractor for the increase in scope during the 2020 water valve and hydrant project. Are there any comments, questions regarding this?
So I just had one comment. Drew, I know we spoke earlier, but this project is now completed, right? So no, we won't see any more change orders related to this project after this one? Okay.
Correct.
Okay, anyone else? Roll call, please.
Trustee Stewart,
Aye.
trustee Markey. Aye. Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
trustee Toll,
Aye.
trustee Sherlock.
Aye.
Item number 14 is a resolution approving a site plan to replace windows and install an air conditioner and a fence at 105 East North Avenue. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Markey. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Toll. 105 East North Avenue is a single-family home in the R5 zoning district. Currently, the zoning ordinance requires site plan review for all properties in the R5 zoning district. However, last year, the ABR reviewed and recommended in favor of draft changes to the site plan review requirements that would exempt single-family homes from site plan review. These proposed changes will soon be considered by the PCZBA along with other proposed zoning ordinance changes and then brought to the village board. The property owner, Brick House Farm LLC, and their management company, RTO Property LLC, are proposing to replace the windows, install an air conditioner, install a 4-foot wood fence around the air conditioner. The proposed location of the air conditioner has been revised to be on the east end of the south side, around the corner from where it was shown on the plan submitted. Proposed changes were reviewed by the Architectural Board of Review at their meeting on July 7th. ABR discussed how the current windows have horizontal mullions in keeping with the international style of the 1935 home, and the proposed replacement windows do not. ABR members noted that custom mullions are available. Property owners said that would double the cost and would not be affordable to install new energy-efficient windows if the mullions were required. After discussion, the ABR voted 5-0 to recommend that the village board approve the site plan to allow the petitioner to make the changes as requested, while noting in their motion the horizontal mullions are preferred. All right, comments and questions from the board.
Could I just add one thing? This is Building Code Supervisor Mike Croak here. I just want to mention that the applicant has since told me they would like to go back to the original air conditioner location. I don't think ABR had a concern either way about either possible location there.
They're not
Mike, to confirm, any of those proposed locations, both locations satisfied the village code with respect to geographic locations. They're within this proper setbacks, yes?
That's correct. Yeah, they're planning to be more than 5 feet from the property line.
And they'll continue to fence it.
Yes, that's right.
Any other questions?
The document.
Just to clarify. Oh,
Okay, Trustee Charlo, did you have something you would like to add?
Yes, thank you. In reading the document, there should have been attached documents that are page from historical survey and plans. That's not going to affect my vote, but I would have liked to see that as well.
Okay,
Trustee Charlotte, I don't know if you saw that. That came out later today, or I'm sorry, earlier today. I don't know if you ever received that email.
No.
just to let you know, this is an unusual house for Lake Bluff, and it's the only one of its type within the borders of Lake Bluff. It is a 1935 Moto type home, steel construction at the time. It has, because I have been through the house, it is virtually has been unchanged since it was built on that lot in 1935. So I personally am disappointed that the original mullion type horizontal windows will not be replaced. I understand the expense and the cost, but this house is a very, very interesting house for this community, and actually nationally speaking, architecturally also. Any other questions or things?
Madam President, there was earlier in the call, there was a gentleman looking, I think Mr. Powers is looking to speak. I think he may have changed his mind. Maybe he was going to clarify the same thing that Building Code Supervisor Croak clarified, but.
Okay.
Oh, his hand is raised again. Hold on. This is Mr. William Powers.
Okay.
Hi, thanks for allowing me to speak. No, I just wanted to let the trustees know I'm here to answer any questions if there were any. I think Mike clarified the positioning of the air conditioner, so that was what I was going to add.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody, any other trustees have any other further comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Markey. Aye.
Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Charlo.
Aye.
Trustee Dewart.
Aye.
Item number 15, which is a resolution approving a site plan to extend a wall at the Lake Bluff Middle School at 31 East Sheridan Place. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Meyer. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Markey. Lake Bluff Middle School is proposing to extend the wall of the HVAC equipment enclosures on the east side of the building to eliminate a gap between the enclosure and the building. The wall extension would be 10 feet 5 inches high to match the height of the existing wall, but would be made of wood. The proposed wall extension was reviewed by the Architectural Board of Review at their meeting on July 7th. ABR discussed other possible alternatives, including raising the wall inside the alcove or installing a metal fence that would allow light through to the windows before voting 5-1 to recommend the village board approve the site plan as presented. Are there any comments, questions regarding?
I actually have a couple comments on this because I did watch the ABR meeting. I guess I would have hoped that when the school came to us with this, that they had done a little more research. I think there was only one quote that they got for this fence. And just, I went over to the middle school, I kind of looked at the area, I looked at the drawing. It's aesthetically really not pleasing what they're planning to put in there. And the cost at what, 3,600 plus a little bit more is really expensive. And I guess I was wondering if they had thought of any other creative ways to manage that situation outside of just dropping a 10.5-foot fence in there that's going to be literally like 2 feet wide, and it juts out maybe a foot from the HVAC. So I don't know if they thought about anything having to do with like some landscaping, putting some large shrubs in, or even putting up a camera. Additionally, they didn't really share how many. They said something about kids getting into that HVAC area. I mean, it's high. I don't know how many children are climbing up there. But I guess I would have wished that the proposal they brought to us was a little more thought out.
Would anybody else like to comment? Because I would like to comment on this also.
Yes, my question is that their only goal with this project is to keep kids out of that area, or did they have some other goal?
I believe that was, I don't know if Jay's on the call, Jay Kahn, but I mean, it seemed like that was the only goal. Drew, you might know more.
Well, I was going to say Mike was at the meeting present, but Jay is on the call. Jay, could you maybe speak to some of these issues? I don't know if there's more questions to be asked, and you can address them all at once.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure, I'm here. Yeah, the only goal is to keep people from climbing into the enclosure. There is a window mullion that's horizontal that's in that gap that people can get a foothold on and then scale the wall. And we're concerned about kids. They walk on the beams in there, and we're concerned about them falling. There's also been some vandalism. It's a very expensive piece of machinery. And there's been some smoking and drinking in there. And really, I've looked at, we did put a camera in there, and we were successfully able to scare a couple of kids away this summer, but that was already after they climbed in and then climbed back out, so exposing themselves to harm. You know, it's expensive because it's a prevailing wage job, and due to the need to have access to that area, there's a significant amount of hardware in order to make it into a gate. It's very small. It's a big fence. You know, I have contacted several different contractors, and I wasn't able to get a lot of people to come out and look at it. One, because it's prevailing wage, and two, because it's a small job, and three, it's just a very difficult time to find people to do work. I tried last summer, and I tried again this summer, and it's something we want to get done. I agree, seems like a lot for a small fence, but it's also very low on we've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to do, and it's something I'd like to get done. And we don't have the resources to, you know, spend a lot of time looking at a lot of different solutions. I don't know if landscaping would keep kids out of there. I could contact our architect. They can come up with something, but this was originally just going to be flush with the wall, and then.
Well, Jay, I'd like to go back a few years, and when the first wall and the first enclosure was done, there was a promise at that time that there would be landscaping done to soften that whole area and make that more aesthetically pleasing.
And we did do that. There's a significant amount of landscaping along the front where it borders, where you can see it from the road, from the park. This is a very small area that's not really visible, and it's just like a little cove. The reason it's there is because there's windows there, and they couldn't make the wall go all the way to connect to the building, and it's just allowed a gap for people to get through and to climb over the wall.
Jay, forgive my ignorance, but is that the only access to the machinery that's in that enclosure? Is that gap, and that's why there needs to be a gate?
Well, there's a door there. The gate is more for if weeds grow, if things get thrown in there, in order to clean it and or maintain it is the only reason to have access. Because once it's sealed off, then there's no way to get back there. That's not really access into the enclosure. The enclosure is accessed by a door on the front.
Understood. Thank you.
The door's on the other side, correct?
It faces east.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
Trustee Toll,
Aye.
Trustee Sherla,
Aye.
Trustee Dewart,
Aye.
Trustee Markey.
No.
We now have a resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 Ford police vehicles and the declaration of 3 vehicles from the village fleet as surplus. This is item number 16. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Meyer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Charlot. The village's FY 2021 budget provides funding for the replacement of 3 police vehicles pursuant to the vehicle equipment replacement schedule. However, the police department has further evaluated the current fleet in conjunction with the Public Works Department to determine that 2 vehicles will be requested for purchase this budget year. Concurrently, the state of Illinois awarded the bill to Morrow Brothers Ford of Greenfield, Illinois, for the Ford Interceptor Utility Explorer police package vehicles. 1 vehicle will be for marked patrol operations at a base price of $36,385. The second vehicle will be for administration use with a base price of $36,985. Cost difference of the base price is due to the patrol vehicle assembled with less initial interior items to accept the required upgrades to prepare for patrol functions. Additional cost estimates associated with the upfitting and marking of the patrol unit are attached to the document. The vehicles will replace the 2012 Chevrolet Impala, which is an unmarked squad car. The second vehicle, a 2016 Ford Taurus, will be removed from police operations and utilized by the engineering department. 2 additional vehicles, a 2007 Chevrolet Impala and a 2004 Chevrolet Silverado from the Public Works fleet will be traded to the dealership in conjunction with this purchase. Any comments and questions?
I had some questions from board members about, the idea of thinking some of these vehicles are not necessarily as old as, 4 years, 3 years old for a vehicle. Is that really time to replace it? And one of my comments, and Chief Hosking, you can punctuate this all you want to, but the idea that our vehicles are constantly running and receiving wear and tear, not like your own vehicle. These things are running on shift after shift after shift after shift. I don't know if there's any more to add than that, Mike.
With police vehicles, it's more the engine hours than it is the actual miles on the cars. But you're correct that they're constantly running one shift after another. And, in this particular case, the 2012 Impala, that was in a, hate to use the word, but a horrific car accident and was rebuilt and probably shouldn't have been. And I think it's dangerous to drive, so I'm glad it's going. And the one marked car, which has got 70-some thousand on it now, is moving to engineering, but the dealer tells us we won't get these cars for 20 to 22 weeks. So the mileage is going to continue to roll on the older vehicles. So I think it's time to replace the vehicles.
I know this has come up in past years when we have done replacements, and virtually we get the same answers, which are very good answers, that these cars are constantly running all the time. For a matter of safety and efficiency, this is what's been recommended. And as I said, This has come up, I've been on the board 12 years, and this has come up several times in the past. But well answered, I think. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Toll,
Aye.
Trustee Sherlock,
Aye.
Trustee Stewart,
Aye.
Trustee Markey.
Aye.
Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
We have agenda item number 17, which is an ordinance granting a variation from the village's minimum side yard setback, floor area ratio, and daylight plan regulations for 709 Sheridan Road. As a reminder, this is second reading consideration. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
By Ms. Marquis, and do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Toll. At its virtual meeting in June, the PCCBA held a public hearing to consider granting the following variations concerning 709 Sheridan Road to allow the construction of a 590-foot square residential addition on the second story of the existing mixed-use building on the property. A 6,158-foot floor area ratio variation, which is 168%. A 4.9-foot individual side yard setback variation, which is 98%. A 12.4-foot combined side yard setback variation, 99%, and a 12.83-foot daylight plane height variation at 107%. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the PCCBA voted 6-1 to recommend approval of the variations with the conditions. The applicant reduced the height of the ceilings to the minimum permissible under the building code. Staff recommends this condition be set at 7 foot, and that the applicant proportionally reduce the height of the ceiling. The applicant not construct windows in the new north side or east rear facing walls to protect the privacy of the adjacent backyard. The dissenting member believed that allowing the addition to continue would be contrary to the purpose for which the applicable regulations were adopted, even given the building's existing non-conforming status. The village board approved first reading of the ordinance at its June 22nd, 2020 meeting. The applicant has submitted revised plans attached to the audience that reduce the ceiling and roof height as recommended by the PCCBA and requested by the board on June 22nd. Do any board members have any comments, questions regarding this? Okay, hearing none. Roll call,
Yes.
please. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, I looked at the plan details, and I still find it regrettable that we're creating a shadow on the neighbor, on the north side neighbor. And so even though the plans were modified, I still believe that it's not great.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we now will have a roll call.
Trustee Sherlock,
Nay.
Trustee Stewart,
Aye.
Trustee Markey.
Aye.
Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Okay. Just to let you know that in the 1940s, it was a Nash dealership. It's come quite a way around through the years. We have item number 18, which is an ordinance amending Title III of the Village of Lake Bluff's Municipal Code and the comprehensive fee schedule concerning liquor licenses. Again, this is a second reading consideration. This is the second of two board items relating to a pending zoning relief application filed by Innovasi Restaurants Limited. The attached ordinance recommended by the Liquor Commissioner proposes the following changes to the village's liquor regulations, creating a new Class AC liquor license, which provides the same privileges as the Class B restaurant and X off-premises sale by restaurants licenses for the same fee, as well as the ability for a license to operate a retail service area and a second bar service area, creating one Class AC license and eliminating the Class Class B license and Class X license, permanently allowing Class X, which is off-premise sale by restaurants, and Class Y, which is the brew pub licenses to deliver beer and wine with or without the sale of a meal, as is currently allowed under the Liquor Commissioner's emergency orders. Specifically, only beer and wine may be delivered in the original package by restaurant employees. The maximum delivery permitted will be either 2 wine bottles, 12 standard cans, 2 standard growlers, or some proportionate combination thereof. I beg your pardon. As I was saying, other minor changes, notably as part of consolidating the various outdoor service area requirements in the liquor regulations, staff recommends eliminating provisions that prohibit music and animals in outdoor service areas. The village board approved first reading of the ordinance at its June 22nd, 2020 meeting. Innovasi has subsequently requested the village eliminate its annual catering, which is a Class W liquor license. The attached ordinance has been amended to eliminate this license and reflect the change. Comments or questions regarding these changes?
You know, I just had one question on the delivery of alcohol. Do people check IDs when they do that? It seems like such a rudimentary question.
Well,
How do we make sure we're
it's a
not
very
delivering?
important question, and your liquor commissioner, that is part of the rules. They have to show proper just as if they were walking into a liquor store or at any time they were purchasing it, the same rules have to apply.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Does anybody else have?
The other,
Hello? Yeah.
That's done.
if I can add one thing real quickly, please. So
Yes.
the other issue with enforcement to make sure that IDs are being checked is with the delivery. It requires only to be delivered by the employee of the establishment and not a delivery service. So there's more accountability and the liquor license can be pulled if they're not checking IDs properly.
Good point. Thank you, Bill. Thank you there.
Thank you.
I know the restaurateur operator, John DeRossi, is on the call as well. And I know John and I have had conversations about that, about how he handles that. And maybe, John, you'd be so good as to share with the board how you run that with your staff. Let me unmute you. Yeah, there you go.
It's really simple. We take the same approach to delivering and dropping things off as we do when customers are inside the restaurant. Our own staff, the same people that will check for IDs in the restaurant, are also making the deliveries. So when they go to the house to make the delivery, if it has alcohol, we will not just drop it off and leave. We will ring the doorbells and we'll wait for somebody to come to it who can accept it. They sign the receipt for it, and then our guys take a picture of their ID. That way we've verified that they are who they say they are. It also has to be the person that ordered and paid for the order. We've had a couple instances of adults sending their children to come pick up an order, or adults placing an order and not being at home when we went to drop it off. So we just leave and bring it back to the restaurant, or we do not give it to them if their kids come to pick it up, which makes people unhappy, but it's the only way to really protect and make sure that we're doing everything the right way.
Thank you, John.
Great, thank you.
We appreciate that. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
I don't think we had a motion on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you are correct. Okay, I am open for a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Dewar. Could I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Meyer, and now we're ready for a vote.
Trustee Dewar,
Aye.
Trustee Markey,
Aye.
Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
Trustee Toll,
All right.
Trustee Sherlow.
Aye.
All right, we have an ordinance amending and restating special use permits and parking variations for the Center Avenue Partners development, which is at 28 to 38 East Center Avenue and 53 to 91 East Scranton Avenue. It includes Innovasi, The Other Door, Cache, Bunk, and Prairie Espresso restaurants. This again would be a second reading. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Markey, and do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Charlotte. This is the first of two board items relating to a pending zoning relief application filed by Innovasi Restaurants LLC. As further described in the attached staff memorandum, the attached ordinance grants special use permits and parking relief necessary in order that Bonk Relocation, which is a fast casual restaurant concept, can relocate along with Lake Bluff Pub and Cycle to an adjacent tenant space. Cache, which is a drinking place accessory to Innovasi, can open in the basement of Innovasi. Accessory liquor retail area, part of the Innovasi dining space, can be converted into a retail sales area, including for the retail sale of liquor. Restatement of prior relief. This property has been subject to numerous approvals and amendments since 2003. Village attorney has prepared the attached restatement that consolidates, clarifies the various zoning approvals. The village board approved first reading of the ordinance at its June 22nd meeting. The ordinance returns for second reading with the following minor changes. Parking. At the request of the owner, the ordinance has been amended to allow a limited number of stalls or in the parking lot to be used by the restaurants. In the past, these have been used by the restaurant owners and operators. Failure to comply and transferability. Section 6 and 7 ordinances now reflect the village's current standard language regarding these items, rather than these provisions as used in 2003. Notably, as is true of the village's other special use permits and zoning relief, these approvals and conditions run with the land in the manner of a covenant, which means they're transferable. A reference table regarding the current use of the property has been added to the cover page of Exhibit C, so to hopefully clarify for everybody. Are there any questions, comments from the trustees?
Madam President, you do have a comment from resident and business operator Susie McMurray on the phone.
Oh, okay, fine.
Susie, you're on the air.
Okay, thank you. I just had a couple questions about the parking. I don't remember seeing anything about changing parking in the back. I also have a recommendation for the bike/bonk facility to put a door in the front of the building instead of having to go through two doors into the elevator vestibule. The door that enters there is on a spring. It shuts hard, and to get bicycles in and out of there, I think is going to be loud, and it will affect, the quietness of the spa. Now, I've spoken with Mr. DeRosier, and he has graciously fixed a wall that was problematic for us, and he's also promised to, the Cache goes underneath us, and then Bonk goes on the other side of me. So I'm surrounded by restaurants, but I just am worried about the noise factor. But the parking, I don't understand.
Okay, Drew, do you want to address this?
Yeah, and Susie, the way I understand it, when this block was redeveloped many years ago, there was a concern, as you may recall, there was a lot of variations granted for parking stalls, specifically for this development. And that was part of it. Was the idea was, I think the village was being gracious in granting such great variations to allow for the developer not to satisfy the parking code, given that this is the first real significant investment in the central business district in a number of years. At the same time, they were concerned about the amount of employees that will follow a business like a restaurant, and the wait staff and the cooks and so forth. And so the idea was then when the special use permit for the original restaurant was granted, there was a condition limiting parking in the back of the private property. This again, the private lots behind the building, saying that no employees of the restaurant can park there. It would appear over time, again, years ago, that was immediately interpreted to allow for the management and ownership of the restaurants, not just, I'll call them the frontline staff, wait staff, et cetera. That's who they interpret that as not being permitted to park there, and those folks were not permitted to park in other stalls around in the time marked, 2 hour, 4 hour parking in the village. They were directed to park at the train station. So while this ordinance was getting cleaned up and restated in totality, we looked at this and we had conversations with ownership of Center Avenue Partners and said, let's understand what's being done out there is being reflected, and so that we don't have an ordinance that's immediately approved and already they're out of compliance, right? The idea was to say that ownership of restaurants and management, key management staff were already granted parking stalls on the private parking in the rear through their leases, and to reflect that, the idea again was to try to manage the other volume of employees and make sure they parked at the train lot. Hopefully that answers your question. And again, Susie, all this deals with the private parking lot that's on the west side behind where I think you park on a regular basis.
Right. Well, I just didn't know that they were, so it's going to stay basically the same.
Yes, it was just taking a snapshot of what's being done today.
Okay. All right.
And that's inclusive of both, again, at the time when the ordinance was written, at first when Holly's was going in, at the time there was no Prairie, Prairie didn't exist at the time. And so this captures that as a tenant, Mr. Davis has a stall there, and we want to make sure that was reflected in this ordinance as well.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions? Okay, before we go, I also reiterate that the employees of these establishments need to be instructed to park in the train parking lot in order to maintain the validity of these agreements. We have had problems in the past, and I would hope that that's all going to be corrected. Roll call, please.
Trustee Markey.
Aye.
Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Sherlow.
Aye.
Trustee Dewar.
Aye.
Okay, at this point, we're open to trustees' report. Any report from the trustees this evening?
I have a report.
Okay.
It's more of a public service announcement. Mark Dewart and I are part of the 125 committee to celebrate Lake Bluff's 125th anniversary, and Megan Michael as well. She's on our committee too. And one of the projects that we're working on is a commemorative brick walkway that we plan to gift to the village. It'll be outside of Village Hall, and it's comprised of engraved bricks. So I just wanted to remind people in the community that they can purchase a brick. It'll be there forever. Come back and look at it anytime you want. The deadline to order a brick and to have it engraved is August 15th. You can go to the Lake Bluff 125 website, which is lakebluff125.org, and you can order it right online, the brick right online. And yeah, so we're getting very close to the deadline, August 15th, and we are planning to dedicate the walkway in October. So there you have it.
No, I got a couple of questions about the attire, 125 apparel. Is that still going on, or is that going to come back? You all know that?
I think
It's gonna
Megan
come
can
back.
answer that. Yeah.
Not going on at the moment. It's going to come back in September,
Okay,
right around the anniversary.
that's great, because I've got requests. When is that going to come back? So thank you.
Well, good.
Information will be on social media and the website, correct, Megan?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss potential impending litigation
And enforcement.
and enforcement. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Toll and seconded by Mr. Meyer.
And to clarify, also, I would suggest suggest with the motion that it's also to talk about security procedures pursuant to 2C8 of the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, thank you. The clarification. All right, could we have roll call for that, please?
Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
Trustee Toll,
Aye.
Trustee Sherlow,
Aye.
Trustee Dewart,
Aye.
Trustee Marquis,
Aye.
All right. Are we set up yet for,
I'm opening it up right now.
okay, let me know when we're all ready to go.